All right, let's talk about the characters. We've been talking about their skills here and there, but we're gonna really deep dive into them now. So I know Brian's been chomping at the bit to get this part going. So let's
It's like
talk
Medea.
about,
Sorry, that was a throwback to Dragon Quest VIII. Sorry, I figured that was relevant here.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's talk about their skills. And we can talk about their items too, tied into it. So the first one we're going to talk about is the hero. How did you guys build the hero in Dragon Quest XI?
Well, I originally started with sword and shield, and then I switched to great sword because the moves were so powerful. And then I found out you were supposed to use the sword of light in the final battle, so I switched back to one-handed techniques. But I did all types of like rebuilding, and I started putting a lot in the luminary section. Not everything, because a lot of it was like unnecessary, like magic might increase by 50. I didn't need stuff like that. But there were some really good things in the luminary stuff, like Omni heal is super important. Pep up, an instant pep like technique, also super useful. Mm-hmm. And outside of that, a lot of passive stuff like plus strength. I really like those kind of things. And then getting those skills at the top of the character tree, the skill tree, are huge. Oh my gosh. Giga Slash, Giga Bash, and whatever's in the middle. I didn't really use the middle one as much, but in the final battle it was useful because you really only had to focus on the middle of the boss.
It's worth noting too, you only need the super sword of light, I think it is. You only need it as an item. You don't actually have to be equipped with it. Mm-hmm. So you don't actually have to equip it. You can still be a dual wheel or a two-handed monster.
So you can only use the Act 3 skills, the sword abilities, with the sword of light. The ones that are elemental that hit everybody. So if you want to use those, you have to go one-handed sword of light skills. There's a part in Act 3 where you can unlock those. If you do a side quest up in the Watchers area, you can unlock luminary
stuff like that.
That's it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they're not required.
Oh, those. Okay, mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah. Those are okay. I didn't have a lot of use for those.
I mean, you have Quadra Slash, which is pretty good for multiple attacks, so you don't really need them.
I basically use Giga Gash and Blade of Ultimate Power at the end of the game. I don't know that I really used any other spell.
Blade of Ultimate Power.
Yeah, my first playthrough I did two-handed because that's just the most damage and it had its own blocking mechanic too, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then this playthrough I decided to go just the sword and shield because that just felt more traditional Dragon Quest. But I think two-handed is better. I really like two-handed a lot more.
I like two-handed at the beginning of the game, and then it just feels at the end of the game when you get a lot of good swords, it feels like I always switch over to one-handed just because at that point I have a lot of other heavy hitters. I don't really need a lot of that, so I just switch over to one-handed usually, or a single sword. But I do switch up. I start with something, and I just redo the skill tree, and I do something else if I want to. Because you can do that, and you can do that in 11. You're not stuck with anything, which is nice, like an 8. Well, I don't want to get into that, but you can move it. You don't have to stick with one weapon. They make it easy enough for a little bit of gold. You can, if you want to try out claws, if you want to try out whips, if you want to try out single-handed swords or something, doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. The only thing I really do is give Sylvando the weapon with the best charm and let him heal everybody or do anything like that.
We'll talk about Sylvando in a little bit.
So for the hero, I don't know. Okay, we won't go to Sylvando now then. For the hero, I went with basically. I usually start off with great swords and end with single-handed swords.
Did you get his cool Erdwin's coronet and Erdwin's tunic?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a cool looking outfit. I do like his Dundersill outfit too. That armor is kind of cool, but the Erdwin coronet and a tunic is pretty sweet.
You also have the Sylvando party outfit.
Oh, those ones that he dances all the time
Yeah, the
whenever you're
little
walking.
little
Oh,
feathery one. There you go. That's it.
increases his charm. Yeah.
The less said about this one, the better.
That was
There
a
are
bad
certain,
night
that
at the
one's just
club.
annoying.
Oh, it was the worst, baby.
Like it increases his charm, but you don't really need charm for Luminary that
Mm.
much. And plus, he's dancing all the time when he's rocking. It's annoying. But you did get the Galapagos outfit, which was kind of cool early in the game. If you could get that from the horse race, it was pretty good armor that lasted you for a little bit. And you could upgrade it too, which was nice. We'll get into that, I'm sure.
Okay. How did you guys build Erik?
Um, at first, when I played the game, I think I stuck with knives. But like the rest of the game, I usually switch off. I do like I played the game a few times, and each time I start off usually with swords now because I like Erik with swords more than knives because I don't like the
Hmm.
setup in knives because you have to like get somebody. I just like to get in there and attack right away. It doesn't fit my play style as much. But
I
if you
agree.
can do knives with him, it takes some setup, but he can do insane amounts of damage with knives. With swords, when he gets to his later tree, where you can get like his strength that gets increased with swords, he can do dually deadly with double hand. He's doing equal damage with both hands. Then swords are very good for him because he could do like fatal flash. He can do like falcon slash and all those things. He can do like all really good sword abilities, which is very quick damage. You don't have to set up. But boomerangs are good too, just to hit like everybody with double down and stuff, which is the skill that like hits all enemies like multiple times. That's
Yeah, I
really
feel
cool.
like they fall off super hard though.
Yeah, not as much as 8, but that still decently. I do like them though. Like, and the thing is, you can just respec into something else if you don't like them, which I try. And if for certain situations, maybe it's better to have a certain weapon, and for other situations, maybe I don't want to have that weapon.
The way I
And the game's
used
not,
Erik at the end of the game was a divide and conquer kind of strategy. So he has a skill in the
Mhm.
guile area called divide. Super powerful if you can get it to stay. Creates 2 doppelgangers, so on the next turn he'll do 3 attacks. I was combining that with the double slashed equal power Falcon slash and doing upwards of 1,500 damage. If I was lucky, I was getting critical hits because of some of the stat boosts in guile. Erik was just massively hitting. You would do critical claim, but it's actually doing as much, if not
yeah,
like just a tiny bit more damage, and it takes so much MP. You'd be wasted of MP in 6 turns,
yeah.
and for the
It's
later
like 40
bosses, it's
MP.
really not useful. It is worth noting too that in order to dual wield, you have to go down the knife path. So I only did a little bit down the knife path to get dual wielding, and then I would invest everything back into swords.
That's kind of how I treated him endgame as well. Um,
Yeah, I always end up with him with swords because it's just he's so good with swords, and at that point, he can hit for so much damage. And if you get strength seeds to him, like you can farm strength seeds so easily. You give him 2 Uber Falcon blades, and then he's hitting like twice for 4 times. It's like ridiculous.
and man, for getting those
Metal slime.
metal slimes, baby.
Yeah, yeah,
That almost like breaks the concept of metal slime farming is having a character that's a guaranteed crit. Because that was always kind of mysterious in other games. Like, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to get him, but I hope I can. And with him,
I
it's
mean,
like, nope.
yeah, a guaranteed crit. I mean,
It's over.
yeah, this isn't like lightning thrust 50% or 75%. This is like guaranteed. Yeah,
If they don't run away, though, that was the only thing, because
yeah.
they would run away before you even get an action, no matter what his agility was for me, and that kind of sucked. And also
But
another
what you
tricky
do,
thing is to do the Hallelujah and the Electrolyte strategy,
Mhm.
because you'd be waiting. Like it took me like an hour to get everyone pepped up without using pep pop, and then also get two peps within the turn. So you could get the both pep powers.
Yeah.
Man, and then to have them run away on me, and also that electrolyte move has like a 50% chance of working or not working. So I would go through all that, and then I would get I forget what the other enemies that show up are.
They're like killing machines, other metal enemies. They're not
Yeah,
slimes
I
like
would
that.
get killing machines sometimes. and then I'd be like, oh man. So, but
A
critical
good trick
fame
for slime. Oh,
is
sorry.
hugely useful. That's it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So a good trick for those is to keep the Rab and the hero in your back pepped. And when you find a slime, just bust them out and do Dirge of Thunderstill, and it puts them to sleep. And then you can do whatever you want to do. Because the Dirge of Thunderstill usually puts the slime enemies to sleep too. And if you defend while you're pepping up, if you have like the pep up chance, you should get pep pretty frequently if you defend.
Well, Pep. I was going to talk about this later, but I guess now's a good time. Is Pep is an interesting one because it's not like some of the other games where it's like based on how many times you get hit, or it's not based on something like that. It's based on what your current health is. If it's lower, it's higher percentage chance, and if other people on your team are pepped, then it has a higher percentage chance. Luckily, as your hero, you can pep whenever you want with that spell we talked about earlier, so that helps. So as soon as you pep him, usually they'll follow if you just, like you said, maybe defend or
if you defend,
take a couple hits if you can.
Better. Like it goes by. I thought it was always damage, and later if you defend, it seems like later in the game for me, the more skills I got pep pretty frequently if I just defended. I don't know exactly why it was, but 2D mode for sure. I'm gonna throw you get pep like crazy in 2D mode, a lot faster. It seems like. It seems like it's really fast, but it's the old style of you input all your turns and then it goes based on agility. Where in the 3D mode, it's like you pick your turn and then you act it. They changed that for 11.
Well, I was going to talk about we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Erik, great for metal slime hunting and a strong single target DPS, which means probably avoid boomerangs in the end game. But cool.
He's good at. He can deal damage, pretty good.
All right,
pretty good.
How do we build Veronica? We're talking about Act 3 specifically.
Act 3.
Brian's trying to use a whip user.
So
Use whips.
Yeah. I like her with whips too.
I remember you talking about Brian. You're crazy. Yeah. I didn't know Teddy. You did.
Well, here.
No. I said Brian's a whip user, so I was out to me too. I wouldn't imagine giving this lady.
She already has. So she already has so much high magical might. You don't need to give her anymore. She caps out at a certain point. So I'll just give her that so she can win Twin Dragon Slap for her. She's useful as a magic caster and an attacker.
Okay.
Like it's like you'd think like the mage wouldn't be good with whips, but she's actually pretty decent. But usually it's dependent. Like I'll switch her up to stabs sometimes if I want. If her outfit, because she gets a pretty cool staff near the end of the game that looks pretty sweet, and I like to use that. So it's dependent on how I feel, but she's not bad with whips.
Most of the Veronica path. When it comes to the skill tree, I just focus on maxing out your MP total or MP recovery, simply because most of her most useful skills are just learned by level. You get, what's the ice spell? Crackle,
yeah.
You Kaboomal is unlockable on the tree, and Kafrizzle, which is also a useful single attack thing. The most useful thing on this tree is probably Channel Anger if you can pull it off without getting disrupted.
Channel Anger is great. Like with Kafrizzle or Kaboomal, she will rip through anything.
Yeah, I love the staff path. But it's impossible to deny. Like I wish like Frizzle and Kaboom are on Vim, so it's like, I guess you got to go that way too. Because the rest of it I don't really love. I guess those are kind of good, but like Spooky Aura and I wasn't as big a fan of those. But certainly, there's worth it just for Kafrizzle and Kaboomal. The whips, I don't know what you're smoking
of a spell hitting twice.
Oh, with channel Echo, yeah, that was a later one she got too, which is great. That's how I did Draconian, all Draconian. I'd start off with Bounty Boost, have Veronica just channel Anger, throw out Kafrizzle or Kaboomal, and just tear through. Because you want in Draconian, you want to put as much damage as possible quickly, and she's great at that.
She's very bursty.
Yeah.
My magic burst is maybe the most
Magic
bursty
burst is great.
concept move
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, she has magic burst. We didn't even talk about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great skill. And then she gets mighty magic burst with her sister, which is even better. But she's great at just putting out lots and lots of damage. She's like a cannon.
Yeah, she's definitely a glass cannon character.
Hmm.
Cool
Especially
little
when you
outfits.
first get her. Yeah.
Got cool outfits, but her classic look is the red mage.
Riding Hood.
Yeah, I like the one with her little yellow Pope hat. That's nice.
Oh, the bear hat, the
Yeah.
like the unlockable one from the start, like her in a cub thing,
Yeah, she has a little animal outfit
little boar
that you get in
thing.
a trading game.
Oh, the angel and devil
That's
thing
really
are cute when you combine her with.
Yeah.
Serena.
That one. She has a Stella outfit from Dragon Quest IX.
I never got the kitty cat one. I never did the cat suit. Damn it! But I got the pig one. The metal maniac. The goody two- Yeah, she's
Goody
got very
two-shoes,
cute
that's it.
costumes.
Yeah, her costumes are very good in this game.
Yeah. All right. How did you guys build? Let me see who I got next. Serena. Act 3.
I mean, clearly wands and harpistry. You know, you want her to have the best MP recovery and MP building set. She's great as a healer. I did some hymns, but the hymns didn't really matter to me. I need to see some of the individual things around the tree to remember what was great, though.
Which one do you want me to look at? Harpistry or?
Yeah, do harpistry.
Wands?
Harpistry's mostly hymns, but you could go around it.
Yeah.
The only hymn I didn't like was Earth. No enemies really used Earth magic that I can think of, so it was kind of like useless.
I never really use the I would tell myself like, oh, I know this enemy is going to do this kind of damage, so I'm going to do a hymn of thunder. And I was like, I'll do it. And then it came to the fight, never did it. It was just like, I can just survive without it. So
I will say hymns are very important for Draconian, but in normal game you don't need, especially if you do no armor or no accessories, because no armor means no accessories either. So you're really in trouble. But during main game, the normal game, it's not a hard game. You don't really need to use the hymns at all for her.
Yeah. So I guess in the normal game, then it just feels like this is a lot of a waste with a
I
couple
kinda
little
felt
MP
that
things
way.
that are nice. But
Well, yeah, and the last bosses you fight use primarily dark magic anyway, and then they will alternate between like fire, wind,
Ice.
ice. Yeah, so there's really, and then they'll use disruptive
nice
wave
to use.
anyway.
Yeah.
right, the amount that they all use disruptive wave, so it's like, why even waste a turn if it's just gonna go away anyway?
Yeah.
One thing I really liked from her was divine intervent. No, that's not the one. Where is it? I can't find it. Divine
Describe it.
retribution. Maybe it's not gotten here.
No, you pass it.
Oh, that's where she goes. She flies up like an angel and hits for like 500 damage.
Yeah.
She goes,
divine intervention.
She does her own.
I don't think it's on the skill tree then.
It might. Maybe she just gets this. There it is. Divine restitution. Assails a group of enemies with radiant rays and also initiates automatic HP restoration. It does like a lot of. It does like pretty good damage, like 300 to 400 damage end game. So as a healer, if she's got nothing else to do, it's like just pop that, and then it gives her like a heal over time, which is nice.
Yeah. One thing I will do in Dragon Quest games is I will play with the AI, and they give you tips that you never think of.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing they do is they do that divine restitution a lot, and they do other skills you wouldn't think of, and that gives you tips on how maybe you want to play it this way. Because the AI in Dragon Quest games is pretty smart normally.
I think it's a little too smart, which is something that they talked about. They're afraid of is that it learns like how much HP the enemies have, and then we'll choose moves that are like a downgrade because they don't need it.
Yeah, that's a good segue. But I was playing Dragon Quest 6, and I would put it on auto battle to grind, and then the last hit of this enemy in this one encounter, he just threw a rock at him, just boom, and he died, and it took like 2 health or 3 health off.
Too smart.
That's pretty smart, yeah.
Did you anybody go down the spears?
I did. I tried pretty much everything for every character. I don't like her as much as Whips on Veronica, but she's okay with spears. She has the ability to like get parry chance, which is nice. And she can do like thunder thrust. She doesn't get lightning thrust, so that's kind of cool for metal slime hunting. She can get like it's like I don't remember if her or Jade gets it, but it's the one where she can automatically dodge an attack. I forget what it's called, which is kind of cool. She has an automatic counterattack, I think, with one if you put it on, which is kind of counterweight. That's it. Yeah, she's not my favorite. Usually I start her with spears and move on to wands when you get better wands for the because she can dual wield wands, which is kind of cool. And like there's some good wands that give you buffs at the beginning, which is kind of nice. So you can put them on to get the buff and then take it out and put spears or something if you want. But mostly I stick with wands for her. I've found I like her with wands better.
Oh, I didn't get the Sacred Sorceress, but I got the other
Oh,
one.
the Sacred Sorcerer's outfit.
The Hip Shaker.
Oh, let's
Rocked
throw
that
back.
one for a while.
That's Dragon Quest IV. Maya and Mina.
There it is, yeah.
Going after Balzac. It's a great name, Balzac.
Your balls. A little mischief, uh-oh.
Hey, that one pairs well with Veronica's angel outfit.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good, like, Halloween costumes set up. All right, next up is Sylvando. How'd you guys build Sylvando?
Oh,
First time I went whips and he wasn't doing damage, and then I found out later that charm is good for him. So I just give him the best weapon with charm and let him do support.
I don't even
So
think
it doesn't
I got
matter.
that
It'll
chivalry
change.
bit. That's up top. You probably have to unlock that through some optional story.
Yeah,
we
it's
talked
with,
about it. It's him and
Hendrik. Yeah, you got to do it. Beat a certain boss. Tweedledoom and Tweedledum or something like that. They're two golems you got to beat, and then it unlocks their chivalry thing.
I missed it, sadly. I missed ladies first.
Finger of Justice is that move.
Yeah,
Does like 500 to 600 damage.
yeah, that's good. Gold Rush is great for AoE attack for enemies. Does like 300-400 damage on everybody. Hustle Dance. You can get Hustle Dance right when you get them. If you find the bonus panel, get it, and then respec, you can get Hustle Dance pretty early, and that's really good because it's like your best multi-healing for a while.
For low MP as well.
Yeah, pretty low MP. Yeah, I didn't really attack much with Sylvando at all.
Yeah, I found any of the attack builds were just really underwhelming.
I mean, if you play,
use them.
If you play as Erik, you can have him whips and do like poison or sleep or something, or he has some poison attacks for knives and sleep, and you can just set him up for Erik, so Erik doesn't have to do it. But I
didn't think about that.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Like you could just have him like Cobra Strike or Sleeper hit the enemy, get him. But yeah, I think I don't really attack with him much. I just use him because mostly during the early game, he's mostly Hustle Dance or Oomph. And that's pretty much it.
That like part in Act 2 where you only have him and like not Serena and maybe Rab. Well, and Rab, but he has Oompful.
Yeah,
Oompful. He's useful for that. And then as soon as you get somebody else, it's like, all right, later.
Yeah. I mean, he's
he'll wake you up.
The Tingle one, get rid of Tingle. So he's good for that. This finger snap one to snap out of people if they're paralyzed or stunned or whatever. Sobering slap,
Slap,
but
yeah.
Erik was cock-a-doodle-doo, I think. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, Erik's cock-a-doodle-doo, yeah. Sobering slap and bit charm, he's a lot of charm based. His healing is based on his charm too, so you want to give him lots of charm. So I don't care what his like attack power is. I give him the item with the best charm usually for a weapon.
Agreed. Because like that one pink pirouette, that's a good AoE, and that can confuse the enemies. So it's
because a lot of his abilities, like Finger of Justice, gold. Like I use gold, the gold one against Gold Rush a lot, and then the pink pirouette. Those are pretty much. I'll use those instead of his normal attack usually if I want to attack with them.
Yep. Agreed. All right. Oh, my girl. How did you guys
spear
build
wielder.
Jade?
I love her
You
spear.
went the
attacks.
spears?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went spears. but I
Multi
have-
thrust?
Multi thrust.
That
Yeah,
gets you through like
multi-thrust is great.
90% of the game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she's
did
good.
go spears. I respect at the end, but
Yeah, spears are really good. She's good with claws too. She has a lot of evasion and stuff. She has a hit where she'll heal with her hits, and her crit rate gets pretty high, but not as high as Rab with claws. But she's decent with claws. But I always end up going spears with her near the end of the game. Like I'll start with claws and end up with spears usually. Because you get with good spears.
I started with spears, and then I switched to claws. I don't really have a good reason.
Yeah.
I think
It's just on how
aesthetically
I
I like
feel,
claws
yeah.
more. But I
Well,
didn't realize how good the allure section was
Mhm.
until I let the computer like do some like when I'm just farming, and I
Yeah.
just put it on auto battle, and I realized that allure has pink tornado.
That's a
that
great
does-
move.
It's like insanely powerful. And I
It's
was
based
like,
on
why?
charm. I
Yeah,
think.
why is the charm like? I never thought to go the charm route,
Yeah.
and it's so good.
AOE for everybody. Yeah. There's Pink Tornado and Pink Typhoon, I think. And Tornado's the big one, or Typhoon, one of them's the weaker one. But the
Tornado's
one
the
after
stronger
that.
one, but
Yeah.
either they're both good. They're both
Yeah.
really good.
But her allure is very good. She has lots of charm. But either weapon you can go with her. But I usually go like, I try to get her to the charm stuff. Because her charm stuff is really good.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
I never used to go that path, and then this time I was like, out of necessity, I did.
Yeah,
it.
when auto battle, they'll show you all kinds of stuff you never think of.
Fuck. And we got some nice. Let's look at some Jade outfits.
She has
Bunny.
the warrior headdress one. The
Metal
bunny
Wing.
one.
Classic.
Schoolgirl, being a naughty schoolgirl.
They give you the best one at the end of the game when you beat Time Worm. They give you the hair raising suit where she can't die. If she dies, she just gets kazing back to life.
Dude, that's. I should.
And it's
really
like a
keep
kick
that
in the
on.
butt that they gave that to you so late.
Yeah, why give it to you then?
I hate when they do that.
Yeah.
She's just a bunny girl. It's her outfit in when you fight Booga. It's her how she dresses up as when she's revamped. It's just that all the time.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Well, she's certainly one of my favorite characters.
She's great, yeah.
For her
Like
skills.
no character I don't really like really. Like even Erik, even though I don't like him, he's still great to use in your party because he hits so hard.
Let's talk about Old Man Rab. How are we building him?
Love Rab. Rab is I first playthrough I did mostly staves, whatever you want to call it. And then I tried second or so. I usually start with claws and then move over to stabs. Or no, endgame I switch back to claws because he has a good crit rate, and I use like hard claw and animal, and he hits 5 times with animal and 3 times with hard claw. Hard claw has a higher crit rate, so you'll crit a lot more. And if you give him like he doesn't have the highest attack power, but the crit rate usually makes up to him. If you give some seeds to him, he can get him up to even like a little bit higher. He does a lot more damage, but with claws, he has some good evasion too. With those two, and crit rate.
Okay.
But usually, I start with stabs and go to claws. But I'll switch back and forth if I want to, depending on how. Like the game's, there's no really wrong way to play. The game's pretty forgiving. Like you can pretty much finish the game on everything and every weapon. They did a very good job designing it.
This is one
Yeah.
where I feel like I didn't really get the full experience with his skill tree. I just, a lot of it was just like up your might or up your mending. Like no skills here were like that great to me. I guess could crackle, but then it's like, why is it on the skill tree? Why is it like not a level up learn?
Well, so he can say, "I'll soul your soul," and like yell Kazam or whatever demonic stuff he yells. He does have the only dark, he does have the only dark magic you can get, which is like a single hit that crits a lot. But he has like
I'm kind of with Teddy where I didn't necessarily pay as close attention to his as probably I could have because he just wasn't one of my mains. But it was like I like the Kazamel and the Kakraku reminds me of Veronica, where she has
Yeah.
Kaboomal and Frizzle.
Frizzle.
Yeah.
So similar there. His was too like his heavy wand usage. It got a little bit too much of like a jack of all trades for me, where it's like, yeah, you're decent at damage and you're decent at healing, but I have a damage dealer and I have a healer. So
You could use him as an MP bank. He has a lot of MP. You can just pass half your MP from the MP empathy move, where you pass your MP to somebody.
I did use that for a while with I would use him with Jade.
Because Jade,
yeah.
Jade has lots, not much MP, yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of your only.
I mean, that's one way you can play
your
him.
role is to give your life over to another of the better characters. Is like
he's a caring old man, you know. He cares about his friends. Let him do whatever he has to do.
It's true.
He tries to help out whatever way he can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, when you use claws, if you use claws, he goes wild animal, and he starts clawing at everything. It's hilarious.
I like your impressions of him.
Hard claw. And when he dies, I love when he dies. Like I did. Oh, it's like my grandpa getting up from his bed or something, or me in a few years getting up from my bed. Like, oh man.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah. All right. Finally, we have Hendrik. He's an interesting one.
Yeah, I love Hendrik. I usually go shields and axes for him.
Same. I love parallax. Just the Angus throwback is great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've never went great swords with him though. I've done swords. He's very good with swords too, because he gets Falcon Slash, which hits 5 times, and his best sword like draws attentions of the enemies to him. And if you have a shield, you can like tank him, and he'll take a lot of damage. But yeah, I've never went heavy or two-handed swords with him.
Two-handed seemed counterintuitive to who he was. Just like as a character. It was like, well, you have like a whole section for shield, and your fraternity section is like, I use my shield to block. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, God, it's a picture of a shield, and it's like you block things for your team. So like, why would you go two-handed sword? It never really clicked with me.
Yeah, I take that back. I did do one-handed, two-handed with him when I did all Draconian. Usually that's the best sword to use because he has parry chance, and you can't use a shield, so might as well give him the biggest sword to have a parry chance with, and it hits hard.
Oh, right.
But that's the only. Yeah, that's the only. If you do like no armor, you can. That's probably one-handed. Is what I went with them.
Two-handed.
Two-handed. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to go axes, but it seemed like the game didn't want me to go axes as much. Like, because I like the novelty, because none of the other characters use axes. So I was like, hell yeah, we're using axes.
Well, they gave you
it was like, this is a sword. They gave you the
Thundersill sword. They gave you the Shield of Heliodor, which is a decent shield right in Act 2 at the beginning. Yeah. So it seems almost a waste to get rid of that to go two-handed. So I usually go axe to them.
But I ended up pulling out of axes. I mean, I have all the skill, but I pulled out and went one-handed sword and then shield.
Yeah, the game pushes you for Gyro Falcon Slash is like the big move, you know, and it's kind of it sucks. And they give you the one-handed sword to whatever his legendary one is, or the Drustin sword.
Right. Yeah,
and it's kind of a waste because like you already have multiple sword wielders up to that point. Oh, that's sick armor, by the way. And I don't know. I think that the axe, even with the Gyro Falcon Slash like being what it is, has the most versatility in terms of the moves you can use and even the effects they do. Like I forget what the crit. There's a couple crit doing ones. There's a defense lowering axe attack.
Defense. Oh, scrap metal.
Scrap metal is one of them, but you also get the first one, Helm Splitter.
Or Helm Splitter, yeah.
So those are useful just as status reducers. Parallax with the chance to paralyze. Axes of Evil. Clever.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Multiple
like
guys.
Early group attack.
What other ones do they have here? Hatchet Man, for your metal slimes. Yeah, I may do most of the game with the axes anyway, just because I liked the versatility.
I wish they had the versatility of the more exciting spells or skills, I should say, but for axes. Because it's like why ever like Erik has swords, Sylvando has swords. Like, can't we do something cool with axes?
Should give him fans. Bring back fans.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Hendrik with a fan. I did like Falcon Slash quite a bit. Because it has a pretty good crit rate too. But
But yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's again sword. Like,
yeah. But I didn't.
They couldn't get that for the
Yeah, I
axes.
didn't find his axes too bad. I mean, you get some good axes. Like you get the the Galaxy axe you could forge. You got, but I never felt like Teddy was saying like Parallax is pretty decent ability.
I mean,
But I do usually end up going swords with him at the end game.
yeah,
Just because I like him looking with the thrust and stuff with the sword. It just looks cool.
In any case, it makes more sense than great swords with him because of the shield. Like you got to go shields with him because what other character is a shield build? Yeah, axes and shields are the unique things to him, and the fact you can even pair them together. The axes are not two-handed weapons. I don't know. I just for the novelty's sake, I went axe shield.
I would have liked to have seen somebody else do an axe with him. Like somebody else uses an axe would have been cool, but or somebody else use maybe he uses a different weapon other than a sword or something.
Maybe in your
but
hero.
I like him with swords.
Your hero could get.
Yeah, that would have been good.